So we're going to reassemble the new parking brakes. Kind of a momentous occasion here because this is the thing that I really wanted to do the truck, so here we are. As you know, I decided to take this backing plate and bracket off of the truck to get the brake off and put the new one on. I really did not want to fight trying to get it on the truck, and glad that I did that. So first of all, you put this boot back in. I've already cleaned this up, but I want to clean this up a little more. One of the things I like to do is just give it a little bit of oil. You can use kind of whatever you want, really. This is just some penetrant here, but you can use like WD-40 or any kind of oil and just again, you can use some lube to get that in there, but it's pretty easy to get it started and then get it over there, and that's about it. And that sits there. I like to put a little bit of lithium grease just right under this pad. Now, the only other places that need grease are these pads here where the brake shoes actually sit. So I'm going to put a little dab on those. Doesn't need much. Just a little bit. Alright. Now the way I like to do this is I like to get one of them started. Oh, a little more grease. So a little grease here. That's it. You should see through here these holes, this hole right here on the shoe, so this hole right here should line up with this hole. Okay, that's good. Then this just gets a quarter turn onto that clip, and then you can release that. And now this is, well, it was. Just make sure it's on those pads like that. So it should be sitting on those 3 pads. It's the only contact point there. I personally think the easiest way to do the rest of this is to get this spring on first. So I'm going to put a little more grease here. And I don't want to do too much grease because you don't want it flinging around everywhere either, getting on the brake shoes and stuff. So get that in there like that, and then I go through there and just stretch it out and get it seated right like that. Now the nice thing about that is that now you don't have to fight it. You have to be kind of careful here because this could try to spring out. There's one more thing, is I like to put the spreader in first. And this is another place where I like to put a little bit of this grease here. Just a little. And then I'm just gonna put just like that. And then we'll thread this in. Now we're set. The rest of this is pretty easy. So this guy goes underneath here. Stretch it out. Watch your eyes. just like that. So you can see there's the other end of the hook. There's that. We're not overlapped. Everything's good. Last thing. Okay, that's it. So that's how you know it's working. The only other thing I'm going to do here is I actually have the rotor that goes in here, and I'm going to pre-adjust this so that I can get the rotor on, but then I'll only have to rotate this a couple turns. I know just from the way the old one was set that this actually needs to come out quite a bit. So I'm just going to rotate. I'm just going to turn this out a couple turns. But that's it. Now all I got to do is bolt it back on, reattach the brake cable. That's it. Now if I were to do this on the truck, the hub for the rotor is right here, and it's about it sits about right here. So good luck getting any tools in here to do that quarter turn. I was able to do it by just I ended up getting in there with some pliers, and I was able to get this out. What a pain in the ass just to get them off. So I couldn't even imagine how much of a pain in the ass it was to get them on. And actually so much so that I would rather pull the differential cover off, drain the differential, and pull the axles out than to have to try to do this on the truck with the wheel hub right here. No, I'm good. Besides which, I wanted to change the axle seals and the bearings on the rear, so while I didn't have to take this off to do it, I was already there doing that, so I might as well take these off, clean them up, get them in good shape. I'm happy with this. I'm not going to install them yet because I got a few more things I got to do on the rear. I'm going to do the bushings, the leaf spring. I'm going to do the seal and the bearing on the back, and then this can go back on. We are getting really close to being done refurbishing all of these parts. This has been a lot more work than I really wanted to put into it initially, but as I started getting into it, I thought, you know what, let's just actually make all of this stuff really good. I've already got it taken apart. Why not just go the full mile? Doesn't really cost that much more money. It just costs a little bit of time. These are all the bolts laid out. So this is the front, driver and passenger, and rear driver and passenger. Cleaned up the springs. I wire wheeled these down, sanded them, cleaned them up, and gave them some paint. Same thing with the steering knuckles and spindles. Gave those a good once over, actually twice or three times over. So those should be good. Calipers, these are the front calipers. Those are painted and baked. I got this rear caliper here. This one just came out of the oven. It's still a little bit warm, but not too bad. I got the last one in the toaster oven cooking. I got the caliper brackets out here. Just got those painted. And as soon as that caliper is done, we're gonna let these kind of sit out here for maybe another 2 hours or so. Let them kind of get a good flash off and get good and dry. And then we'll be ready to start reassembly. I decided that I wanted to pull the pistons out and redo the seals. Now I think the seals were okay, but I think they were leaking a little bit, and they were old. And the boot that goes around the piston they were definitely cracked. I'm glad I went in here and cleaned them up. These were pretty dirty. People will say, well, why didn't you just buy new calipers? They would have been cheaper. I don't know. I looked at a set of calipers. If I were to replace all 4 calipers, which I probably would have if I didn't want to go to this extreme, probably would have paid quite a bit more. I think I saw a set for a decent set for maybe like $400. If I went with OEM, it would have been a lot more expensive. But here's the thing. There's really nothing wrong with these calipers, right? Like, there's nothing wrong with these. They just needed a little bit of cleanup. I put some caliper paint on these, and that's it. I mean, I think they look new. They are new, essentially, at this point. So now that this is all cleaned up, all 4 of them are cleaned up, I got new seals. I polished the pistons. I think they'll be fine. With the kit that I bought, I mean, I probably spent maybe $100. Maybe. I don't even think it was that much, but I'm just overestimating in terms of that. Caliper paint was like another $30. I spent maybe $200. I mean, and that would be like the extreme. I spent $200. It took me some time to get this to this state, to buy these new with everything included, where it's just, you know, ready to go. It probably would have been easily $400, twice as much as what I spent on these. So I think it was worth it. And this also goes to the idea that just because something is crusty and needs a little love, you know, I just don't believe in waste. I think that there's a lot of things these days that just get thrown away for no real reason. And these are good examples of that. You know, there's really nothing wrong with this at all. Now, like, if one of these ears or something were broken off, obviously I'm going to replace it. But this is completely intact. There's no cracks. Nothing's wrong with this. So I believe in restoration. I think that you can bring these things back to life, and that truck is a 2002, so we're working on 23 years old. This will easily get me another, easily, 10 more years, if not even 20 more years. And by that time, I don't even know if that engine will be running. So I just think that this is a better investment to put some time and energy into restore and reuse, as opposed to just toss it. That's just wasteful, in my opinion. I think today I might try to get to the bushings on the leaf springs. That's going to be something, that's going to be a challenge, I think, but I might do it a little later. It's a little warm outside right now. It's not too bad, but we'll get there. So while I'm doing that, I can cycle those through the oven and get those done. Once the leaf spring bushings are done, then I can start putting the rear end back together. Just to show you here, we got a bushing up there that needs to be replaced, and 2 bushings back here. I meant to hit record. I just started moving quickly and wasn't thinking. All right, so what we're doing over here, we need to change these bushings. Originally I thought we could just undo these bolts on the shackle and lower this down enough to get the bushing out. It just doesn't move. I have to take the whole spring out to do it. which is fine. It actually made it easier to get the old bushings out. So I got the bolts off on this side. Now I just got to undo this. Should come down. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to step out of the way because this thing is heavy. Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. Wow. Just wow. Yeah. Gnarly. Crazy shit. I think that was probably the hardest part of all of this, if I gotta be honest. Like, even those ball joints were easier. But I guess in a way it kind of makes sense because ball joint press is made for that. So it would be effective at removing it. And not so much stuff that's not really meant to be removed.